So let's take a look at another modeling method, modeling with deformers, which are these guys here. So let's start with another primitive object, maybe a tube, and I'll make it a bit taller and tweak the inner and outer radius a little. And to our tube, let's start by applying a bend deformer. And if I just click on this, it'll be placed at the top of our list and not be applied to our object, because in order to affect it, the deformer actually needs to be a child of the object. So let's just drag that inside to make it a child of the tube. Then in the bend attributes, I can make it fit to parent. So it resizes to the shape of the tube. And we see the bounding box fits around the object perfectly, which will allow us to bend it easily. So let's increase the strength of the bend, and we pretty much get what we'd expect. However, it's not bending very smoothly, and that's because our tube doesn't have enough segments to make this deformation nice and smooth. So we just need to go back there and increase the height segments. And as I increase that, it should start smoothing out, and we get a nice clean bend. So back to our bend. Aside from the strength, we can also choose the angle to bend this on. And we can also control the angle and amount of bend with this handle here, which can actually be a bit tricky to control, to be honest. So I'll undo that. And feel free to explore some of the other settings. But let's delete that. And with our tube selected, let's try another one, the Bulge deformer. And this time we'll hold Shift when we bring that in, so it's automatically applied to the object and automatically fitted to the shape of it. And this deformer does pretty much what you'd expect. It just allows us to bulge the mesh outward or inward. And you can actually go beyond the values of the slider by dragging left or right on the value itself. So we could really bulge this out and create an interesting shape. And there's also a curvature setting as well, if you want to sharpen that up. Or you could add a fillet or fillet to give the ends a bit of a tapered look. And we've also got some control handles here as well. And if you find the big orange deformer bounding box a bit distracting, you can also hide it by just clicking twice on the top stoplight to hide it from the viewport, like so. And it will still affect your object unless you uncheck it here, which will disable it. So let's trash that and try another one, maybe the taper. So holding Shift again to apply it. And that also does what the name suggests and tapers the ends of the object, which can be useful for modeling different kinds of shapes. And that's got a curvature setting as well. And a fillet option. So I'll get rid of that as well. And I won't go through all of these, just a few of the most useful for modeling. But I will link a bunch of more detailed videos on every deformer down below. But the one I probably use the most is the Bevel deformer. And if we zoom in here, this gives us a nice non-destructive bevel along the edges of our object, which is really handy because it means we don't have to manually model this in all the time. And just like a regular bevel, we can add some subdivisions to smooth this out. And I might switch back to shader mode so we can see that a bit better. And I might also go back to the tube and give it some more rotation segments to make it a bit smoother as well. Then back in the bevel, I can offset it a bit to give it a larger beveled edge. And what's great about this is that we can easily switch this on and off. So we can work with simple low-res objects and add that extra detail when we're ready to render, which is pretty handy. And if you've modeled the bevel in and decided later you wanted a rounder or sharper bevel, it'd be a bit of a pain to fix. So I use this guy on pretty much every project. But let's take a look at one more deformer that's quite useful for modeling. But to demo this, I'm going to need a spline. So let's come up here and bring in a rectangle spline. And I want to resize this, but the handle is behind the tube. But there's a handy little tool up here called the viewport solo, which we can enable by clicking here. And that's going to solo whatever object we currently have selected. So I can easily reshape the rectangle with the handles now. And just click it again to bring everything back. So what I want to do here is wrap this tube around or along this rectangle to create something like the pipes we have in the example scene. But first, I might also round the corners of the rectangle as well. And that's easy to do directly in the object because the rectangle has a rounding option. So I'll switch that on and we can adjust the amount here. Then I'll keep my bevel around because I want to use it again later, but I'll just disable it for now. Then I'll grab the tube, and this time I'm going to use a Spline Wrap deformer. So again, I'll hold Shift when I bring that in, and it goes in above the bevel deformer. And for this guy to work, we need to give it a spline to wrap our object around. So in this case, that's going to be the rectangle. So let's drag that into here. And it'll almost always go crazy at first because we don't have the correct orientation set up here. So I think if we switch to the positive y-axis, it should work. Perfect. Although it's looking a bit jagged around the corners, and we already know how to fix that by going back to the tube and increasing the height segments again. And we also don't need so many polys around the radius of the tube either. So I'll drop the segments there down as well, because it's always a good idea to optimize your models as you go to keep the viewport running nice and fast. And I might also make our tube a bit thinner as well by dropping the outer radius, like so. So that's exactly how I made that shape in the example. And if you want the little joint parts as well, that's super easy from here. If I just disable the spline wrap for a second and bring in a cylinder and scale it down a tad, and holding Control, I'll drag out a few copies of this and place them along the length of the tube. And now we want this full group of objects to wrap along the length of the spline. So I just need to get the hierarchy right. So I'll bring in a null object and grab everything but the rectangle and plonk them into the null. And if I now enable the spline wrap, it's still only wrapping the original tube along the spline because the spline wrap is still only a child of that. But if we grab both deformers and move them into the root of the null, where we usually want the deformers after objects in the list, those deformers are now affecting everything inside. And we're closer to the example. So now we can clone another one of these cylinders out. And you can see that that's sticking to the spline as well, because it's within that same hierarchy. So I can place a few more of these around, like so. And I might just put all these together and grab them all. And we can adjust all the selected objects together at once, as long as they have the same attributes. So I'll decrease the height and radius a bit as well. And that's pretty much the pipes done. And because our bevel's here too, I can re-enable that as well. And it should affect all the objects inside the null. So all these joints also have the bevel now. And you could smooth them out as well by grabbing them all and increasing their rotation segments. So I'll hide the deformers from the viewport, and we're done. So that is how you can use deformers for modeling in Cinema 4D. So let me know down in the comments if you have any questions or if there's anything else you'd like me to cover. And don't forget, you can get the full course as well as some more advanced content and resources at cgshortcuts.com/jumpstart.